Rehab rumors right. Looksmaxxers are the new PUAs. And this is something I've been noticing and wanting to talk about for a while now. And something I think I've realized over the past couple months as I've seen the rapid growth of looksmaxxing gurus and their audiences and the looksmaxxing community. And as I've also kind of seen it to start to diverge quite significantly from the black pill in ideas. So the first thing I want to talk about is the core idea of looksmaxxing and the red pill. And the core idea of both is the idea of self improvement, reward from that self improvement, which, if we dig a little bit deeper, we can basically realize that that is just the just world fallacy. So, the idea of self improvement, of being rewarded for that, that is just the just world fallacy, just a specific aspect of it. The just world fallacy is the idea that the world is just and fair and that good things happen to good people and bad things will happen to bad people. If you work hard, you will be rewarded. If you do not, you will fail. If you are a bad person, you will be punished. If you are a good person, you will be rewarded. That type of thinking. It's a fallacy. It is not true, but it is an innate way of thinking that is present in all humans. Okay. And that's obviously undeniable. I will probably maybe link some research on it below this video, but you can go read up on it. But again, the fundamental idea of looksmaxxing and the fundamental idea of the red pill are both just self-improvement in the pursuit of success, be that with women, in the workplace, whatever. And the idea that they're anything different is ludicrous. Looksmaxxers, and especially Looksmaxx gurus, I've noticed, tend to put on this mask where they'll pretend to be part of the black pill community and they'll use black pill vocabulary and kind of just put on this act as if to say that they're not part of those red pillars who are trying to tell you to go be confident and just have game. No, we're down to earth. We're reading the science and we're giving you accurate information and we're not coping and lying to you. And a lot of that's true. I think that this will definitely be a positive change on the red pill. You won't have these copers telling you to go do the most just retarded shit like I forget what his name is, the Yad Stop. You're not going to have the Yad Stop. It's not going to be, it's more going to be based off more scientific and more accurate self-improvement advice. But at the end of the day, self-improvement is still self-improvement. And for most people, it's not going to make that much of an impact. And by overselling the impacts of self-improvement, what the Looksmaxx gurus are doing is doing the same thing the red pill gurus are, but with a different coat of paint. Right? They're saying that by doing these actions, you will improve your life dramatically. Okay, be it with the red pillars, it's game, gym, and confidence. With the Looksmaxxers, it's gym maxing, skincare, diet, everything that's just going to make you look better, right? And so what looksmaxing really is it's just the red pill, but instead of focusing on looks and game and confidence and money, it's basically just about looks. And at its center, it really is still the same idea of self-improvement and, being rewarded for that self-improvement. But I do think it's important to note that I think the Looksmaxx community is definitely a lot better and less slimy and less exploitative and more honest than the red pill community. Looksmaxxers, the advice they're giving is still good. It's going to work, although the results it's going to give you for what you want, right, in increasing your attractiveness, might not be all that it's let out to be and said to be. But again, looksmaxing advice on how to improve your looks and improve your dating is going to work better than red pill advice, but it's going to work better in the same way that throwing a rock at a building or a wall is going to do more damage than throwing a pebble at a building or a wall, which is essentially they're not really going to do much damage either way. So that's the first problem. And again, you see this in both the red pill and the Looksmaxx communities where they will massively oversell how big of an impact, right, the red pill and looksmaxxing are going to have on your lives. And obviously, looksmaxxing beats the red pill. It's more honest, it's more accurate, but again, for most people, it is not going to do what it is saying it's going to do. If you're looksmaxxing, you can looksmaxx to kingdom come. You're never going to go from a 4 to a 7 like these people are telling you. And again, like the red pillars, instead of looks, it's just, oh, if you have game and confidence and money, you'll go from a 4 to a 7 in the eyes of women. It's very similar. It's just different tactics or different methods, but it's in the pursuit of the same goal, and the philosophy behind it is the same. And the tactics that most looksmaxxing gurus use are the same. So this is another thing I wanted to talk about. I got a list of 7 different gurus, 4 of them from the Looksmaxx community, 4 of them from the Red Pill community. And again, one thing to note, they're all selling courses through school or their own websites where you can buy a course per month, right, and pay to get their advice, right? And again, I think that's really a really good example of, how they really are exactly the same and how they use the exact same tactics and methods of making money, and they're kind of grifting, if we're going to be honest. Although I will say that the Looksmaxxing community definitely is a lot less grifty. So let's go down the list and I'll show you guys my observations. So Clavicular, his course costs $49 a month, and he makes a total of $18,584 a month. This is after fees. Okay, Shami, $19 a month, $40,000 and $546. So $40,546 a month. Oscar Patel, Jester Patel, $39 a month, $52,962 a month in income. And Face IQ, $29 a month, $18,256 a month in income. Andrew Tate charges $50 a month on average. He had different tiers. So I was really conservative with this. I way underestimated the number of members he had because I think he's lying. And I also said that the average member was going to pay $50 a month, even though there are courses for like $69 and like $79, and then there's a course for $49. But he charges an average of $50 a month and makes $5 million a month. Hamza charges $250 a month and makes $128,525 a month in income. And Rich Cooper was at $124.75 a month. He charges by year, so I had to divide it by 12. And he makes $16,699 a month. So, obviously, I think going through this information, we can see that the Looksmaxxing community charges quite a bit less, which I think is good. I want to give it to them. But again, like $49 a month, okay, for stuff you can find on the best of the best threads on looksmaxx.org is not a steal, right? You know what I mean? Like $40 a month, $30 a month, $20 a month, right? For Looksmaxxing advice that you can find for free on the internet, again, really isn't going to change that much. And in some cases, the cost of it is equivalent to the red pillars. Clavicular and Andrew Tate charge basically the same price. So it really is, it's hard to really defend it. And it's kind of obvious that it's a grift. And I know that's an obvious statement to make, but I feel like somebody just needs to address it and come out about it and just at least just talk about it. I don't want to hate on these guys for making money. And honestly, if you're buying any of this stuff, it's on you. That's just economic Darwinism at that point. But I also feel like there is an element where it's exploitative of lonely, desperate people who are looking for an answer in life. And now they're going to be getting grifted less, but they're still going to find the same type of copes and things that are just, and dishonest guides that are going to charge them hundreds of dollars a year to promise that their lives are going to change when they're not. So just keep an eye out for this stuff, guys. Do not be paying for any of this. You can find looksmaxxing and self-improvement advice on the internet for free. You do not need to pay money to these people for it. But the last thing I want to say is that this is my prediction. And my prediction is that over the next couple years, the Looksmaxx community and the Red Pill community are basically going to merge and become one, right? There are going to be different factions within it, but the audience and the type of people in the communities are going to be very similar. right? It's going to be kind of how like a political party has different factions in it, but they're still united under kind of the same banner and same general ideology, which again, in this case is self-improvement. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Don't get grifted by any of these people. Don't buy any fucking guides on the internet. You don't need that. That's pretty much it.